Welcome to my video with AFL ratings and tips for round 9, 2025. Let's have a quick look at how we did last week. We got 6 games in the tipping the money line, only losing Fremantle, Collingwood, and GWS, which were all the lowest percentages there that we had: 51, 52, and 56. So understandable that we might miss those games. They were all under a goal or less. So they were the games that we were expecting to be fairly hard. That brings our total to 39 from 50. So only missing 11 games so far out of what I have predicted since putting up these tips. Looking at the money line, the spread didn't do too good. Only got 3 of the games, basically missing 6. That brought us back to 28 out of 50, still pushing higher than the 50% mark there, though. So we'll see how that goes. We had one bet last week. That was the Essendon game at the $1.48, and that was successful. So we ended up in a profit there with that game. So looking at round 9, we've got quite a few interesting tips here. I think it's a pretty close round again. We've got 2 games that are under a goal, and quite a few there that are under 2 goals, another 3 games that are under the 2 goals, which means they're fairly close games. Let's have a quick look at who we've tipped. So Fremantle versus Collingwood, we've gone Collingwood, 59% chance to win by 9 points. The handicap's 9.5, so based on that, there's half a point edge to Fremantle, so we'll take Fremantle on the spread. St Kilda versus Carlton, we've got Carlton at 59% as well, again a 9-point predicted margin. The handicap on that game is 7.5, so we're taking the favourite there with Carlton to cover the 7.5 spread. Melbourne versus Hawthorn, we've got Hawthorn 74%. Generally, we get these games when you've got a 70% plus prediction. Predicted margin is 23. The line is 23.5, so we're taking Melbourne with that half a point. Pretty close to what we predicted. The Essendon versus Sydney game, we've gone Sydney with a 56%. Predicted margin of 5. The line is 8.5, so we're thinking Essendon might cover that with the 8.5. Gold Coast versus Western Bulldogs, we've got the Dogs. Again at 56%, one of those close games with only 6 points in it, which is a goal. The line, though, is 0.5, so we're taking Western Bulldogs to cover that spread, as well as on the money line. Port Adelaide versus Adelaide. Adelaide looks fairly good in this. It's a 10-point predicted margin, 61% chance of winning. We've got them on the spread, covering the 8.5. Richmond versus West Coast. Richmond is at 64%, predicted margin 13. Looking at Richmond to cover that spread as well. Geelong versus GWS. We're looking at Geelong at 67%, covering it, the spread, where it's got a predicted margin of 17. And final game there, North Melbourne versus Brisbane. We've got Brisbane at 83%, which is the highest chance of winning all round. We've got them winning by 34 against North Melbourne, and we've got North Melbourne covering that because the spread is 35.5. Now, most importantly, when you want to look at these, you want to look at the chance and compare it to the odds you can get. So these are the odds when I put this video together, which were available. You'll need to check what odds you can get. I'm just putting down the odds that I had at the time of the video. So one of the good things is if we've got this percentage, we can monitor the odds, and if the odds do get higher than that, we can have a bet. So if we have a look, these are the odds that you should be aiming at for each of those games. So we're looking for Collingwood to be $1.69, same with Carlton. Hawthorn to be $1.35 or higher. Sydney to be $1.79, same with Western Bulldogs. Adelaide at $1.64, Richmond at $1.56, Geelong at $1.49, and Brisbane needs to be $1.20. Now, when you compare that to the odds that I had here that were available at the time, we've basically got 4 bets. We've got $1.70 there on Carlton, We've got the $1.90 on the Western Bulldogs, which has a bit of value there against the $1.79 predicted. We've got $1.58 over $1.56, and we've got the $1.51 on the $1.49. So 3 of these games are pretty close. The best value there is on the Western Bulldogs, and it is a 50-50 game according to the spread, but we've got them winning it 56 times out of 100. So looking at how that has gone up until this point, it's made $7.56 if you were to bet $1 on each of them. So therefore you're looking up about that 7 unit marks, and you can see here is what we won last week with Essendon. We had them rated at $1.45. We could get $1.48, and we came in with that edge. Now we've been pretty lucky up until now. There will be some variance. We could lose all 4 of these games and still be in front overall. You wouldn't expect the run that we've had to continue indefinitely, but so far so good, and hopefully our ratings can keep on those winners. In regards to tipping comps, the tips I have put up here have kept me in first place yet again going into round 9. So I've had first place in the tipping comp the tipping comps that I am in since round 1, and have held that out to round 9 so far. Hopefully we can get to the end of the season, but it's very competitive to win tipping comps, and people are taking chances, and sometimes those chances are coming off. Last week, quite a few people caught up with taking chances on the 3 games that we got wrong. Okay, I'm going to leave it there, get the video posted. Check out my NRL video. It's got 2 bets in there. One of those I'm not 100% confident in, that being the Cowboys game, but very confident in the Knights taking out the game against the Titans. So let's see how that goes. And as always, I've got my horse racing videos, which if you are looking to actually bet to make money, there are a lot more races than there are AFL and NRL games, and so you can bet smaller stakes and make more profit than you can betting sports, which is why racing is a very good thing to get into if you actually want to make a profit, but it is a lot more work. There's a lot more races each day, and it is every day, not just once a weekend. Okay, gonna leave it there. If you are betting, good luck. If you're following the tips, good luck. Let's see if we can get a full round. 9 out of 9 would be great, but that's pretty hard to do, especially when it's got a few 50-50 games in there, less than 1 goal. Okay, thanks for watching, and if you're not subscribed, subscribe, like the video, and feel free to ask any questions in the comments, and I always get back. And let me know if you disagree with any of the tips, or there is one that you agree with and you are going to be betting it. Okay, with that, I'm going to say thanks, and hopefully we get a winning round.